Rightio, somebody asked me to make a bit of a video how to put tyres on for the Postie ride, so here we go. First thing I do is when you pull your old tyre off and tube out, there's probably like a rubber band thing that goes around the spokes to protect the nipples from rubbing on the tube. First thing you want to do is pull that off and throw it to the shit house, because they tend to slip around, and when you're out in the bush they're very hard to locate the valve stem and line them up. So what I do is I chuck them out and I put tape around the spoke nipples, stop them rubbing on the tube. I use what they call gorilla tape, which is just the right width. It's a cloth duct tape, get it in any hardware shop. And what I do is I just get a texter and just put a little bit of a mark somewhere on the inside of the rim so I know where I'm starting, and I start from there. So just put it sort of in the well of the rim, around the spoke nipples, like so. I usually do 2 or 3 laps, probably do 3, hang the expense on the tape, do 3 laps. That's why I put the little texture mark, because once you've done the first lap, you don't know where you started. Let's put 2 laps. With your rim, when you pull the tyre off, just run around the inside of the rim, sort of in the inside here, just getting any crud and surface rust off. There's probably a bit of surface rust on, but that's no big deal, just get rid of that crud. So there's some tape around the spoke nipples. Then I get old Phillips head screwdriver and just punch a hole where the valve stem's got to come out, which is there. Use the old screwdriver, make a hole, put the valve stem through, and I run a rim lock. So I punch a hole, a second hole for my rim lock. That's a rim lock. Most of you guys that ride bikes will know about this, but basically it stops the tube tyre from slipping and tearing the teat off your tube. If you want to put a rim lock in your Postie, it's a simple matter of drilling about a 10mm hole, 4 spokes around from the valve stem hole. So just put my rim lock back in. Don't do it up all the way yet, just put a couple of beds on it. You can get a rim lock in your bike shop, they've got a set of one for your Postie rim. So that's the spokes protected, the nipples protected from rubbing on the tube. Now to whack the tyre on. Bring that down a bit. Rightio, so I've got a new tyre here. I always put a bit of lube around the tyre. I'll get that down there so you can see it. Just get an old paintbrush. Lube, I just use any old liquid detergent, dishwashing liquid. Some guys use WD-40, use whatever you like. So because I've got a rim lock, I just put that under there. Just push the first bead on. Oh, I'll tell you what I've done. Nearly made a mistake there. The other thing you need to do before you do that is whack some talcum powder in the tyre. Bit of talc just helps you get a bit of slip between the tube and the tyre, so it does prevent pinch flat. Some guys say it's a load of bullshit, but I've always done it on all my bikes, and it stops chafing, the tube chafing. So get in there. Your shed will smell like a Chinese whorehouse when you're finished. That's alright. Just drop it on the floor a couple of times. Slop the old talcum powder around. Now, that's where I start to put push it most of it on the way with your hands. Last bit with the tyre lever. Like so. So that's the first bead on. Come around, grab a tube. Obviously take the top valve stem nut off. I I don't put any air in the tube when I put it in. Some guys put a little bit of air in. I find it easier to just put the tube in without any air. Sometimes the trickiest bit is getting the valve stem tube in. A bit tight sometimes, especially on the big bikes. So put your valve stem in, like so. There's the valve stem there. Just grab your valve stem nut and just put it on a few threads. Don't do it all the way up yet. So just like that. Put my ghillie gloves back on. Right, just make sure your tube's sitting inside the rim. Push it down so it sits in the well of the rim. I've got a rim lock, so just make sure the rim lock moves in freely. Rightio. Just make sure your valve stem is straight. Some guys, there's a bit of a theory about where to start. Some guys say start at the valve, finish at the valve. Some guys say start opposite the valve, finish it opposite. I think it makes a lot of difference. So try and push the tyre on best you can with your hands. Keep the tyre pushed down well on the opposite side to your working. Couple of tyre levers. One in there. Just tire it back, lever it back on. One over this side. There's a couple of things you can use, little tricks. You can buy a Motion Pro bead holder. What that does is that clips over your spokes and holds your bead in while you work from the other direction. Postie tyres are pretty simple. Keep your bead pushed down on the other side. Leave it on, small bites as you leave the tyre on. Like that, take that out, check your valve stems. Okay, just, where are we, there. Just make sure your valve stem goes up in there okay. If you've got a rim lock, make sure that gives an okay. Then it's a simple matter of screw the valve stem nut down a little bit so you can get your compressor or your pump on there. Simple matter then of pumping the tyre up. We generally run 35, 38 pound for the Postie ride because the rocks we go through, it just prevents a lot of pinch flats. So pump the tyre up, check that it's come out on the bead. When you've blown it up, make sure that the beads come right out. You can see by the little line there that it's popped out onto the rim properly. Pump it up. Once it's pumped up, then you tighten up your rim lock if you're running one. Once it's pumped up, then I won't waste your time pumping it up, but once it's pumped up, you put your valve cap on, and then once it's pumped up, valve cap on, do your valve stem nut up against the valve cap once you've pumped the tyre up like so. The reason you do that is if your tyre does slip a little bit on the rim, it won't rip the teat out. There's a little bit of give. It can slip a little bit without ripping the teat out and giving you a flat tyre. So that's basically it. That's how I fit tyres for the Postie ride and pretty well how I fit tyres for all my bikes. So yeah, hope that gives us some help. Cheers.